Hi guys, and welcome back to Railway Empire. We are once again trying out the chapter 3. Last time we did not really reach President, so I will make another attempt today. This will be a more or less collage of the attempt that I made, and yeah, let's hope we manage to get President this time. Please do enjoy. Yeah, so what you can see here is that I was starting out, of course, just deleting this old train station that's in there. I want one with the signaling control already on the station. So that is what I'll do at the very beginning. I will now also continue, of course, and make sure that I can connect as much stuff as possible to Toledo, since that is the main objective in the early game here. We want to make sure that we can kind of expand Toledo as much as possible. Oh yeah, and I do apologize for the bad quality of this video. I had some issues with my recordings. I should have it fixed for next video. Yeah, you can also see that I am connecting up Grand Rapids quite quickly here. I think having these two cities connected and then growing them together is probably quite a good idea. So yeah, and here next to you will be able to see me set up my trains. I try to stick to 2 or 3 trains per line, except for the vegetables, I think it is. Yeah, the carrots. For the carrots, I decided upon actually using a little bit fewer trains. I just used 1 train for that. My idea was that Toledo wouldn't use that much carrots anyway. I think later on I decided that I had to kind of start bringing in more of the carrots anyway, but for now I only set up 1 train. And as you can see, once we have set up these 4 stations, we're almost halfway done with the first mission there, so clear success. So yeah, I was just messing around a bunch and I realized that my wheat would probably bring a bunch of issues with that intersection, considering that it's super close to the actual like water post, water and supply towers. So I was just starting out to kind of resolve that, and just when I start doing it, this is what happens. Luckily, I was actually able to resolve this myself, so by going straight through another train, it was fixed. So yeah, I had quite big pile-ups coming from the northwest. I guess kind of combining all of these lines into the same 2 lanes were maybe not the best of ideas. I decided to fix this using 1 extra train station here, and that train station was doing hard work the rest of the playthrough. This is something I really wish that Railway Empire had. I wish it was an easier way to assign multiple trains to different train stations, or even better if they could decide themselves if there was a free spot on any train station in that city. That would be so convenient. Unfortunately now we have to kind of micromanage all of that all the time, and occasionally it takes forever, but yeah, I made it work. So yeah, this is definitely far from the best of ideas or the best strategy that you can have playing this game, of course. But I really like the idea of using warehouses to move stuff around. Works well in the early game, but it doesn't scale very well. At the mid to late game, there's just way too much materials needed in each city as they grow. So I think for next time I might have to skip this idea, even though I really do like it. So this time it did work out though. So yeah, I decided to build a bypass road through Toledo, more or less. And then I decided to more or less do a straight road from Grand Rapids, since currently Grand Rapids have developed the ability to make beer or alcohol. So I'm hoping to maintain both beer, meat and wood in the warehouse to begin with. Those are kind of the main parts that I see all cities need. So if you can keep those in a warehouse in the early game, that usually helps. This way I would make sure that I don't run trains empty for too much. The wood would have to be run empty, but when it comes to beer and meat, they will actually bring either resource back to the city when they go away from the warehouse as well, so I'll be paid both ways, which is kinda great. So I decided to get the wood from the north part of the map, just left of Chicago. There is some wood below Toledo as well, but it's very far away, and I've already connected it to Toledo, and since Toledo is anyway doing lumber, I figured I might as well just leave that line as it is. So I decided to go past Chicago and then make sure that I can actually connect a train station in Chicago to that line if I need to at a later date. So yeah, I checked my warehouse just to make sure kinda that I have enough stuff in it at the moment. I did notice that there is a lot of kinda wood coming in as well, which is good because I was kinda running out of wood in the warehouse at the moment. So I make sure to double that up a little bit, make sure that I can deliver a little bit more wood than I already do. And then I continued to build the train station that I just spoke about. So my idea here was to make it as simple as possible, so I can both attach from the north as well as from the south. And I think later on this turned out to be quite good actually. I also took a look at the price to connect the train station from Chicago over to the train station at Rock Island.
But yeah, that was super expensive, so I decided to wait a little bit on that. Didn't really make financial sense at the moment. I really like this idea of making sure that I have kind of slip roads at all points. So if I need to, I can have a train just pass through a station instead of going straight through it. It can pass outside of the station. I think that's really good actually. It doesn't get the station as clogged up as it would otherwise. So yeah, strongly recommend that.
Yeah, I tried out a few things just north of Toledo here. I tried to make sure that I didn't have such congestion on the line between Toledo and Grand Rapids. You can see that there is some trains just standing there waiting, 3 of them down in the left corner right now, for example. But it kind of always needed a massive bridge or a super big tunnel, and I didn't want to do either of them. So eventually I kind of just decided to scrap this, since I didn't see how I would be able to make it work. Oh yeah, instead I kind of took a look at how my network was set up. I kind of decided that yeah, I can just build another warehouse or expand the one I'm using right now. And that way I can have something more just go into the warehouse instead, which would kind of remove it from that line up in the top right corner. I decided to move the corn over and instead have the corn in the warehouse. This was probably a really bad idea because all towns needs a lot of corn apparently, and I don't think this was a good choice. I should probably have moved something else into the warehouse, or actually just paid the amount that was needed to build that bridge. I think that would have been cheaper, or at least simpler than this turned out to be. But yeah, you live and you learn.
So yeah, I was just kind of clicking through my trains, checking what everyone was doing, making sure that they were actually carrying stuff and so on, when this thing popped up. This is actually the first time for me that I see this. Apparently there is a conflict among train personnel. I guess this is in regards to when the train personnel is showing dissatisfaction with someone else. So this old man doesn't like the lady he is working with. So far I've only been using the auto assign button. I didn't think it would actually put two people that was negatively impacted by each other in the same train, considering that you can see how much actual space I have in other trains, but apparently it will. So that's interesting. But we figured it out, found a solution, made sure that the conductor that didn't like to work in that space actually got to work somewhere else. So yeah, problem solved. So yeah, I was able to eventually actually expand the warehouse. So this time I will be able to actually increase the amount of wares that it can hold. So I can make sure that I have the corn there. I can add the milk that I set up just before as well, and so on. So this will give me more access to different options in actually delivering. I noticed that there was a kind of bounty to set up in a station in Indianapolis at this point. So my brain goes, oh look, shiny, and then we set up a new station. I think slightly after this I more or less forget about the warehouse, for a few minutes until I kind of remember again what I'm actually doing. So this happens every now and then I realized just a few minutes later that, oh shit, right, I was working on this. So now you can see me go through a bunch of research and stuff when I obviously should be setting up my warehouse to make sure that I can actually deliver stuff there. So yeah, this is about 5 to 10 minutes later, and I realized that, oh, I never set up the warehouse after I expanded it, so it's just been sitting there costing extra money for no reason. So I finally get to add my corn as well as the milk to that. I think it takes me a good 10 to 15 minutes extra as well to set up the milk here. I just didn't really have it on my mind. I already set up the station, I just didn't set up any trains at this point. And at this point I am so focused on making sure that I can bring in the fruits instead. So I think I'll just completely forget about the option to add trains to the milk line. But to be honest, milk isn't super important. It will be later in the game, but right now it doesn't really matter. So yeah, I finally felt comfortable actually expanding the network all the way out to Rock Island. I don't think this was like a money move in any way. It didn't really make me much money at all actually. It was more kinda to set up to be able to start delivering lumber over there. At this point I was kind of just scatterbrained and started doing a little bit of everything. I didn't even set up any lines between Rock Island and Chicago, for example. So right now it's not making money at all. I just paid $200,000 for that line and it's not doing anything for me. Yeah, I was kind of curious on how this functionality actually worked. I knew it was in the game, I just haven't been using it myself. And looking through this, I kind of realized that it is super expensive. But I also identified the kind of root properties there and suitability. I think using those to actually update trains on bulk later on is probably quite a good idea actually. So I'll make sure to use specific trains for specific routes going forward. So yeah, you just see me clicking around a bunch here and then I kind of realized that, oh wait, I never finished that line over to Rock Island, right? So I go back and make sure that we have like a direct route. Just like I mentioned before, I like to be able to bypass stations if at all possible. So yeah, I set up my bypass. Then I make sure, of course, that we have the necessary signals. Signal is a really big part of this game actually. If you mess up a few signals, that can be absolutely devastating. But yeah, so I set everything up here. I kind of used my normal strategy of setting up usually 4 trains in between 2 stations. I think in this situation I actually set up 5 trains, but doesn't make that big of a difference actually. So yeah, I'm currently like setting up my corn lines from the cornfield over to the warehouse, and yeah, I see that little bounty pop up. I don't really read it very carefully. I just identify that, oh, okay, those are usually worth doing. I don't really have the funds to do it right now, but I'm really close. So in just a few seconds here I will set down my station. I still don't really suspect anything, so I just go ahead and place the station. And then we set up the rails that we need. I tried to get it so I could have them go up north as well, and I didn't really think I would be able to do it, so I decided to do it on the left side there instead. That way I made sure that I can have my trains go up north towards Grand Rapids as well, not only go to the east and go to Toledo. So I could have multiple routes going to different stations. And yeah, Indianapolis have 2 free stations as well, or 2 free lines that I can use to connect down to Louisville. So yeah, I build the railroad and I kinda start building the next rail that we need. Of course, I as usual get the rail on the wrong side of the track. That is like standard for me. It always happens. And then this is like my bane. I don't understand why this is so hard. Eventually I just decide to scrap it, I think. Yeah. Just do it the easy way. That's usually the best way. So yeah, I eventually managed to hook it up here. And I realized that... Wait, what? Why didn't I get paid for it? I already connected it. And then I see that, of course, it's an industry I should have built. And industries are just not worth it. So now I have connected the cities for more or less no reason at all. I have a few stations that have repair parts, some does not. So I try to keep on top of it when I see repair stuff coming up. It kind of trashes my economy for a while, but it's hopefully worth it. So yeah, I realize now that Grand Rapids has kind of become a hub of things as well. So everything goes in between Grand Rapids, the warehouse, and Toledo at this point. So Grand Rapids still has just a small train station, and my idea was that, okay, let me just increase it before I remember that I can just build a new train station and kind of utilize 2 of them. I'm gonna have to move around a few of the train lines again, but I think it's worth it. So yeah, as you could see before there, and as you can see right now, there's a lot of trains just waiting here. There is, of course, maybe not the best of ideas, so yeah. I hope that this train station would resolve that, and I think it actually did, to the most part at least.
Here I realized that Indianapolis actually continues to grow and is now actually producing some cheese. So since my current warehouse is full, I decided to build a new warehouse and just simply have the cheese to be available from that warehouse. My idea is that I kind of want to avoid having any freight going through stations in the cities. Instead, I want to try to have as much as possible go through warehouses, especially in Indianapolis. So yeah, I was kind of proud of this setup to begin with, but eventually I kind of realized that it backfired completely. These warehouses just doesn't have the throughput to be able to support all of these cities that I wanted them to. I think at the end I was supporting maybe 3 cities and I just have massive queues. So probably not the best idea. I might be able to put up a warehouse just to kind of kickstart it in the beginning, but I think the best idea is to try to deliver as much as possible directly to cities in the future. And of course this bonus continues to mock me without giving me any reason to actually claim it, so that sucks. But yeah, since I have a new warehouse now, I can also put in the sugar. I think those are sugar beets. I usually call them cucumbers. I don't think they're cucumbers though, but yeah, that makes it a lot easier for me to remember them. So yeah, I put up a few trains. I think it's 2 of them to begin with, and make sure that they have a direct route into the new warehouse as well, so they don't have to go around the long way. Trains have a tendency to find like the most stupidest way if they don't have a direct route into the kind of location they're going. Yeah, I'm not sure why I decided to do this, but at some point I decided that I wanted to move my fruits, so the apples. I wanted to move them over and have them in the other warehouse instead. I'm not sure if this actually brought me any benefits or any reason why I would want to do this. I can't remember, but yeah, that's something I guess I did. As you can see, it's kind of a struggle. Having these many connections on top of each other isn't really great. Kind of just asking for trouble at that point. But yeah, I continue trying for a bit longer. So yeah, after a few attempts, I kinda just gave up on that idea of connecting it to the same route. I kinda realized that it wouldn't help with another intersection on that same rail line again. So instead I decided to make this like really bizarre idea with the bridge. I mean, sure, it's getting rid of a few of these trains, but I don't think that the fruits were an issue, really. And now I'm connecting the wheat, which would make sense, but I don't know why I decided to have the fruit go over there.
done this mission like twice now, and I've done the same mistake both times, which is just silly. I don't get why I do that. So, and one of the kind of objectives that you have for this chapter is that you need to deliver lumber to Rock Island. Both of these times I have decided to deliver wood instead. I always do this until I actually realize that, oh wait, it's not actually wood that they want to have lumber. So I set up all of the lines, and then I eventually kinda realized myself that, oh wait, no, this is not actually wood that they need lumber. But yeah, in Madison I have the possibility to put down one of the lumber stations, or whatever machinery actually creates lumber. But yeah, as I continue to struggle with this station here, it just takes forever to find a spot where you can put it. You would imagine that you should be able to put a station there without much of an issue. I eventually find one spot that I can actually put it in, but yeah, I'm kind of hesitant to put it there as well, because I don't want to risk having both of my exits just automatically blocked, more or less. So I kind of test a few more things here, and eventually I will settle on putting it more or less in the same position as I had it before when it was green. So yeah, I set down the actual station itself. Of course it's gonna be quite an annoying bridge there, but it's not much I can do about that. I decided to make another kind of platform, since I kind of have no other choice at this point. If I can only have one platform going in there, then I kind of need, or if I can only have one rail going in there, I kind of need two platforms. I tried to make something fancy here, but it didn't really work out. I was hoping to be able to have the middle two tracks kind of just cross over each other, but I don't really think I understood myself what I was trying to do at this point. So I just do it simply making a merger at the end of the line. And here is where my kinda issues come up. If you paid attention there, you noticed that there were some textiles in Madison now. So instantly I go, what the fuck? I was gonna put my lumber here, come on. Can't have textiles here, and it's like hundreds of thousands for me to remove it. So I eventually buy it and I go like, okay, I just delete it then, I guess. So it's like 100,000 plus to buy it, and then I have to pay 200,000 to actually remove it as well. This is crazy. I don't have the funds for this. But yeah, so I kind of look around a little bit. Maybe there's somewhere else I can put it. I did it in St. Louis before, but it was kind of far to go with a bunch of wood. So I decided to eventually just delete that one and speed up the game a little bit to make sure I get some money. Just double check the objective itself to make sure that I was correct, that it's actually lumber and not wood, because I always do this mistake. So yeah, delete that, put down my new sawmill, and set up the actual rail lines that I'm going to need. So yeah, at this point I've kind of messed around a bunch just for like half an hour, doing more or less nothing, just kind of tweaking a little bit here and a little bit there. So I look at my objectives and I realized that I still haven't connected St. Louis. So I figured that is quite a simple solution to just bring that up to Rock Island and have those two kind of exchange
their goods back and forth. It is already quite busy on the line into Rock Island, and it will continue to be that. So this was probably not the best idea, but it gets the job done at least, and yeah. So that's another task knocked out. So yeah, I continue more or less throughout the whole game, just monitoring the values of my oppositions, as well as making sure that there is some kind of bonds and how kind of high they are. Because my intention is to use a bond to be able to kind of buy out the competitor as soon as possible. Yeah, now that I have connected the St. Louis line, it's not actually that much left to do actively, at least. There's still quite a lot of stuff that needs to be delivered and kind of stars that needs to align, so to say. But I kind of feel comfortable at this point and start building on the direct route to Omaha. So there's a lot of like weird stuff here with bridges and tunnels and so on, but I don't really care that much. I have plenty of money at this point, and money keeps coming in quite good, so I just decide to kind of splurge a little bit and simply make sure that I get the line that I need built. I think this more or less saved me a good 10 minutes wait time down at the warehouses if I didn't. So yeah, it's probably one of the better choices I did during this gameplay. So yeah, I'm kind of just fiddling with trains here again. So I'm just more or less doing nothing. I'm the expert at this, so I just click around, see what's happening, what everyone is doing and so on. When I get this notification that, hey, your bridge has been built, you actually crossed the Mississippi. This means that we can continue and build our route all the way over to Omaha now. So I kind of sidetrack myself, go into some research first before I go over and actually draw out the line over to Omaha. And this time I actually remembered to set up all of the trains as well that we're going to need. So yeah, at this point we actually just have two more things that we need to do. So we need to transport people to Omaha and we need to buy one of our competitors. I get some research here to kind of make sure that I'm able to deliver as much people as possible. Built its bypass up to the north here, not to the north, it goes to the west of course. Just to make sure that my trains going to Omaha doesn't get caught up in this complete mess that is the entrance into Rock Island. There is constantly trains waiting there. It doesn't matter what I do, it seems like. So I kind of just made sure to be able to bypass it completely, and I think it worked out. So yeah, the next hour or so is just me kind of trying to get this Rock Island access to work out somehow. It's such a mess. There is always trains waiting here. I even decided to put down another station, one with signaling, to make sure that as much trains as possible can access. But it's just a lost cause at this point. I have no clue what I'm supposed to do with this. So yeah, not much working out here, but we continue to deliver people to Omaha throughout this, and you can see that my money is kind of increasing quite well as well during this time. So I'm kind of just waiting at this point to get to the point where I can buy one of my competitors, and also to be able to actually deliver all of the people to Omaha that I need to. I realize here that I only have 10 more people that needs to go to Omaha, and I have a few trains that are already on their way over there. So I kind of take this little ugly trick of mine and just delete this little part of this little part of rail there. That way I won't have a bunch of trains going all kinds of places. As I do that, this happens. I have no clue what happened here or how it happened, but apparently that's the thing. So yeah, I don't know, I have signaling there, so it shouldn't happen, but apparently it did.
And finally, after a long wait, we actually get just enough funds to be able to buy out Trisha Jones here. She kind of fell behind a little bit, and yeah, 24 million, bye. And we just liquidate her information, I guess. It's not really anything that I need, and at this point I more or less just finished the game, so I'm just gonna put this track back in here, and then we will just wait for the trains from Toledo to arrive.
And as I'm just sitting here betting with Beatrice a little bit, this happens. And we are done. Let's go see the score screen. President. We did it, boys. So yeah, needless to say, I'm worried for the next chapters. I hope I won't have to do this again. It takes a lot more time to do every single chapter twice, so let's avoid that. Thank you all for watching, have a nice day, bye bye.